A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a groundbreaking legal development, the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, has announced that churches and houses of worship will be allowed to endorse political candidates without risking their tax-exempt status. This significant shift overturns a long-standing interpretation of the U.S. tax code, specifically the Johnson Amendment, which has prohibited certain nonprofit organizations, including churches, from engaging in political endorsements since its inception in 1954. The Johnson Amendment was designed to prevent tax-exempt organizations from becoming entangled in partisan politics, but recent court filings indicate a potential loosening of these restrictions. President Donald Trump has been a vocal advocate for repealing the Johnson Amendment, arguing that it infringes upon the rights of religious organizations to freely express their political views. The IRS's recent filing, made in conjunction with the National Religious Broadcasters, NRB, and 2 Texas churches, marks a notable pivot in policy. The filing states that communications from a house of worship to its congregation in connection with religious services through its usual channels of communication on matters of faith do not run afoul of the Johnson Amendment as properly interpreted. This statement suggests that when churches discuss electoral politics through the lens of faith, they are not considered to be participating in or intervening in political campaigns as defined by the tax code. The joint motion filed in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Texas seeks to settle a lawsuit initiated by the NRB and the 2 churches, Sand Springs Church and First Baptist Church Waxham. These organizations argue that the Johnson Amendment violates their First Amendment rights, particularly their freedom of speech and expression of religion. A ruling on this motion has yet to be made, but if granted, it could permanently prevent the IRS from enforcing the Johnson Amendment against these plaintiff churches. Critics of this move express concern that it could lead to houses of worship being used as political fundraising tools, fundamentally altering the landscape of campaign finance. The IRS's new interpretation could pave the way for churches to endorse candidates openly and potentially operate as political action committees without the same level of financial oversight that other nonprofits are subject to. Diane Yintel, president of the National Council of Nonprofits, has voiced strong opposition to this change, stating, "This action is not about religion or free speech, but about radically altering campaign finance laws." Yintel warns that this could allow political operatives to funnel money to candidates while receiving tax breaks, ultimately costing taxpayers who may not share those political views. Public opinion appears to be against this shift. A Pew Research Center survey from 2022 indicated that over 75% of Americans believe churches should refrain from political endorsements. This sentiment spans across various demographics, including a significant majority of both Republican and Democratic voters. The NRB, however, contends that the Johnson Amendment has forced churches into a position of self-censorship, preventing them from addressing pressing social and political issues during election cycles. Troy A. Miller, president of the NRB, argues that the right to freely express opinions on candidates and issues is fundamental to the mission of religious organizations. The controversy surrounding the IRS's new stance has drawn criticism from groups advocating for the separation of church and state. Americans United for the Separation of Church and State has called on the IRS to uphold the law, arguing that the Trump administration's reinterpretation of the Johnson Amendment undermines the principle of nonpartisanship for charitable organizations. The organization warns that the shift could threaten the integrity of democracy by favoring religious institutions in political discourse. As this story develops, it raises critical questions about the future of political engagement within houses of worship and the implications for campaign finance laws in the United States. The ramifications of this policy change could extend far beyond the realm of religious institutions, potentially reshaping the political landscape as we know it. Stay tuned for updates as this situation unfolds. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.